Today on Community Connections, we're going to be talking about summer, lifeguards, beach safety, and maybe a little sports with Danny George. Thanks for coming over.
My pleasure.
Okay, basic question. Who trains harder, lifeguards or wrestlers?
It's close. It's close. I think the wrestling training is a little more intense because it's a shorter period of time. And lifeguards kind of train all year. So when they get there in the summer, you know, we're training to maintain and to work on skills as opposed to training to get in shape.
Now, not every one of our lifeguards is a high school club or a college swimmer. Some of them are teachers that are retired from it, but you got to have that basic swimming skill.
Yes, you do. In order to be a lifeguard, you need to pass the swim test, which is 500 meters in under 10 minutes. So that's what a lot of the lifeguards work on in the off season is swimming, maintaining that shape. There's a lot of former high school swimmers, you know, and college swimmers. But for the most part, you know, everybody has to pass that test in order to guard on the beach.
One of the things you've been doing along with, I think he's still involved, Dr. Hessian and some of the other elders of the beach, training for the lifeguards and making sure it's serious and the young kids really have to go through an arduous program.
Yes, in 2014, we started a rookie camp. And the rookie camp, Dr. Gene Hessian, who works on our beach and has for several years, is a certified instructor through the National Lifeguarding Association. And he runs the rookie camp, which it's a 40-hour intensive training session. And it goes everything from going over the manual, which is a thick manual. So it has a written documentation to it, final exam. It also has skills where they're training on different lifeguarding techniques, as well as a piece with the public safety and the police officers, as well as the fire department. So it really has a great scope of what is involved in being a lifeguard in 2016.
When do you run the camp?
Right the first week of the summer season.
So mid-June, right after school's out, before the beach.
So it will be around the 20th or 21st of
So
June.
we're putting kids into water that's pretty cold.
Yes.
That's part of their job.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that is different on the East Coast, especially the Northeast. Your first month of the summer, water's usually pretty cold.
Right.
People are out of shape. You know, so when people are out of shape,
meaning when you say people, beachgoers who are going down there for that first beautiful day.
So they've got to, our guards have to be ready. Most of our rescues happen earlier in the season as opposed to later in the season, just from your patrons being in better shape and being used to the beach and the waves and the swimming.
Now, in the years you've been running, you're a couple of years in the early 90s.
Yep.
You left and then you came back. The size of the crowds changed the job for the lifeguards.
There's no question. It's amazing to walk on a weekend day and see the amount of people that come down to our beaches, from West End all the way to Seaview. It's exciting, but it's also a little nerve-wracking for us as supervisors and for lifeguards, because you have thousands and thousands of people on the beach on any given beautiful weekend day.
Now, last year, the boardwalk was under construction. The year before that, boardwalk was closed, but we had access points from West End to Pier Village, any number of them. Now you're going to have a boardwalk open, probably a crowd from one end to the other on any given weekend. How do the guys get used to handling that?
Well, it really comes through our training. I mean, I think one of the fortunate things since 2007 when I came back, we really put together from top to bottom a great lifeguarding staff. And thanks to the council, we worked on our salary guide, Our salary guide is now competitive. I think we have really good people to work for, and that makes excuse me, that makes a difference. And so we really, I think from top to bottom, have a great staff that's well prepared and ready, to sit the stand and take care of any emergencies.
Now, most of our kids, you said up to 70% of our lifeguards are coming back from last year to this year, and a lot of them are now veterans. They've been here a few years. That makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference, and I think one of the things that we're proud of is, you're doing things right and treating people right when you get people back.
Right.
And you get people to stay. You hear nightmare stories where, you had to close 5 stands. People go down to the beach at the end of the summer, and there's a bunch of stands closed at the place they've been going all summer.
Right.
That hasn't happened at our beach. We've kept every beach stand open the entire summer, which is awesome. And we're also guarding later now. There'll be 5 beaches where we're open till 7 o'clock at night.
That's one of the things we experience crowds after hours, and most people who have trouble in the water, most drownings are after-hour swimmers.
Yep.
And we're trying to avoid that.
And it's amazing when you travel on the beach at 6:30 at night and realize how many people stay down and enjoy the beach.
It's the best time of the
Yep.
day. I mean,
No
for those of us who like to go to the beach, 6:30 after work, going down to the beach is a great way to end the day.
Especially on a hot day.
Yeah. Our lifeguards are very competitive. You're a fairly competitive person. Our team is pretty good, particularly the women lifeguards.
Yes. We've won the Monmouth County Women's Lifeguard Tournament the last 2 years. They've only held it for 2 years. We've won the Sandy Hook North. It's basically the women's national championship the last 3 years at Sandy Hook. We're extremely competitive. And, I think it's like when you assemble any great team, great competitors love to be around great competitors.
Right.
We just don't have one. We have a whole bunch. We're fortunate, a lot of the club swimmers are with each other every day. Our best salesmen and saleswomen are the people who work on our beach.
Now, the skills that they compete with, how important are they to being good lifeguards, those skills?
I think they're critical because, at the end of the day, if you have people that are competitive and stay competitive, they're going to work out with a purpose. They're going to have an objective. They train on all the craft, whether it's rowboats, paddle boards, surf skis, and that equipment helps us get to rescues faster and quicker. And then the actual swimming with the torpedoes, they have to practice 3 or 4 times a week, and therefore you got your A game every day because you're having a tournament once a week. You're working towards the nationals, which is usually the first or second weekend in August, so the kids stay trained all year long.
They look forward to it.
Yes.
I mean, I've been to a couple lifeguard tournaments. They're a little risky.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen you and your brother Billy taking a boat out and surf.
Yep.
But the effort is phenomenal, and they're fun to watch.
I think, and I learned this at a young age with my father, I think the competitiveness in people is probably the most important. And
The passion to compete.
the passion to compete, the willingness to, regardless of what place I'm going to get, I'm getting in the boat, I'm getting on the paddleboard, I'm racing against this guy or this woman. I know they're really good, but hey, it doesn't matter. And when you do these competitions, there are Big Ten, ACC, SEC swimmers on everybody's team. You're not talking about.
And we have a couple.
And we have a couple. Hannah Elliott and Hallie Massey. One
Right.
swims for UMass, and
Hannah's down at LaSalle.
Hannah's down at LaSalle. So you're talking. We have Robert Whitaker, who swims at the University of Notre Dame, you know, and just qualified for the Olympics.
A few years ago,
and the Olympic trials.
we had Connor Yeager, who has placed at Worlds, made the Olympic
Yep.
team.
Maybe the captain of the next Olympic team.
Right. I always want, when he wins an Olympic medal, I want it to say former Long Branch lifeguard Connor Yeager.
Yes.
That would be pretty
that
cool.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
And it's something that our kids take pride in, you know, from whether helping to recruit people to come to us. But that was one of the things when I came back that we wanted to get to the forefront, you know, because it's important. And people say, well, you know, your lifeguards, why they got to compete, you know. It's just the message that it's important. Lifeguarding is important. And we're going to use these avenues to make sure we stay sharp.
Let's go. The idea of beach safety, which is what lifeguarding is about. People who come down, particularly when there's a big crowd, a lot of them have no idea. We're going in the ocean. The ocean is not a swimming pool. You can't see your feet sometimes. The bottom drops off. I'm making this gesture because sand replenishment changed lifeguarding and changed swimming and changed riding waves for all of us. Are our kids used to, our guards are used to that now?
They are. And I think they take great pride in it. I think that when you work on a public beach, I've worked at a private beach, I've worked at a public beach. You know, when you work at a private beach, most of your patrons, you know, had swim lessons, swam on the swim team, and, you know, you really kind of just...
And you don't get mobs of people at a private beach.
You can watch. You know, like, one of the things that we talk about every single morning at our morning meeting is these people came down to swim. They came down to play and enjoy the beach, and unless it is truly dangerous, they're going to be in order. And it's our job, if something goes wrong, to rescue them. You know, so we start with that on a daily basis, and that's a mindset. Right. You know, where, hey, listen to me, and our kids, we are big believers in our training, getting off the stand, talking to people. You see something going wrong, you know, a lot of people just blow a whistle and expect people to move. It doesn't work, you know, and we have enough guards on the stand where they can do that.
How many times do you tell them, see the problem before it gets worse and deal with it early?
No, preventative lifeguarding is no question the best lifeguarding. And, you know, we've been in some situations where, you know, that's why I think a lot of staffs on the Jersey Shore have some older lifeguards, because the eyes are almost as important as the physical attribute, because you can see it.
How old is an older lifeguard? How old do you define an older lifeguard?
We have lifeguards well into their 50s on our staff, you know. Right. They're some of our best lifeguards. They enjoy it, they're passionate about it, and they see everything. And they, you know, that experience is invaluable. They're sitting with an 18, 17-year-old kid who's just learning, who can swim around that person 10 times, but if he's swimming in the wrong direction, you know, it doesn't matter.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half.
Your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes.
Who said that? Hello?
Really can, you know.
You talking to me?
Sure am. Because the airline miles you earn and donate to Make-A-Wish can help send thousands of kids on their wish trips. So donate to Make-A-Wish today.
You really should, you know. You really should.
And give wishes wings, because wishes work wonders.
All right. We were talking about the benefit of having an older lifeguard. The kids who are out there, though, they learn to pay attention. But let me, what time do we start manning the beaches in the morning?
We start at 9, and we go to 5, and then there's 5 beaches where we'll be open to 7.
Now, we do have, I know that there's a crew of triathletes who show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and one of our lifeguards shows up with them. So we'll stretch hours for special occasions.
We'll stretch hours, holidays, you know, we'll stretch hours. And then when the surf condition warrants, we'll stretch hours. You know, where
Surf meaning,
the surf, if we've got a great day going, we're very busy, and there's quite a bit of surf, you know, where
Safety issues, you mean?
Safety issues, where people, we know we're going to stay down, we know we're going to swim, we want to make sure that there's
heat
no
waves?
issue. Yes.
Last summer of 2015, we didn't really have a bad heat wave, but we've had days, 7 o'clock at night, it's 100 degrees.
Yes.
And people are going to the ocean.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
we had quite a bit of that.
So we'll do our best to cover that too.
Yes.
First piece of advice, don't swim without a lifeguard.
Don't swim without a lifeguard. Don't swim not near a lifeguard. You know, it's so important, and it's simple. Some people like convenience over moving a little bit because the lifeguard stand is situated a little bit to the north or a little bit to the south. They want to go straight ahead where there's no lifeguard, you know.
Where do we allow surfing during this? I mean, look, surfers are out there all winter, but in the summer we get waves in the summer. Where do we allow it on the public beaches?
The number one spot is at Pavilion Avenue. We have it on both sides at Pavilion. We allow it at West End. We do allow it in Pier Village, but depending on how busy the day is, there's been a lot of days where we couldn't have any surfing at all just because we were wall-to-wall people.
Now, one of the things that, and I've read articles that there are different kind of injuries, the replenishment, we touched on that,
Yeah.
but that changed everything. How?
It did because when the beach had a severe drop-off, what would be happening is we would get a lot of shoulder and neck injuries
I know the feeling.
because catch the wave and they come right down onto the beach.
Right.
As opposed to catching a wave 100 meters offshore, wave's gonna break, they're gonna bounce around, roll around, they're not gonna hurt anything. So our lifeguards really tried to be on top of watching people, assessing people, and then when they realized people were trying to catch waves into the shore break, which is right on the beach,
Right.
you were in trouble. Because there would be days where you would hear a great surf report and come down to the beach. What are you talking about? There's no waves. The waves are just climbing and going right on the beach. So that's something that we've had to deal with the last couple of years. This year, the way the winter has, seems like we got some pretty good flat surfaces. Waves are breaking out. We got some more jetties that are popping up, and the beach is moving.
Well, sand is supposed to move, but the sand replenishment worked huge for us.
Huge. Even the amount of storms we had this winter going down there, we still are Big Beach from Seaview all the way down to West End.
When you came back in 2007, now the early 90s, when you and I really first got to know each other and you worked for the city, the beach was a 90-day operation, if that. We opened on Memorial Day, we got bit, but we were never that busy.
Right.
Now, it's not a 90-day operation anymore, and the difference between 07 and now is huge.
It is huge. We have 150 employees between ticket takers and lifeguards. You know, we're manning well into September, and we've even been on the stand in October when we haven't used the money. You know, we would keep it open at the end.
People should know, we don't charge, but September weekends, there's almost always lifeguards.
Correct. And then in the beginning, you know, you drive down there on a beautiful June day when we're not open during the week, and we are
Mob.
as crowded as can be. People love it. You know, when the weather is nice, they love it. We had a great year last year based off the weather. You know, people just coming down
Without a boardwalk.
without a boardwalk.
I don't think we'll do double because we have a boardwalk, but we'll have a lot more busy beaches.
It's just so exciting to look at the boardwalk, how great it looks. You know, I've had the ability to drive on the beach and look up, which is an awesome sight. You know, a lot of people are going to see that this summer.
You know, you get one of the things I'd like to mention. We have a great event. We have two swims with the Ray Licata swim. brings a lot of people down on a Sunday morning to swim their mile, and then money comes back to our lifeguards.
Ray Licata, just a super person. And I think you measure someone's life and what he means to people when continuously people come out in droves every single summer to swim for Ray Licata. And those proceeds go to the beach. Everything from the junior lifeguard program to the senior lifeguard program. We've gotten boats, we've gotten ATVs, we've gotten surfboards.
Did we get a defibrillator too?
We got a defibrillator. They were initially, our junior lifeguard program, which started off with about 35 kids 5 years ago. We've grown to over 125 kids in our junior lifeguard program. They've been monumental in getting additional equipment because you bring all those kids down.
Right.
You need to get them on something. You know, you can't have 3 surfboards and
Right.
expect them. And those boards are different than the senior guards boards. So we're up to close to 20 boards now for those kids to ride.
How many of those kids have become lifeguards for us? How many have graduated from that program?
Over a dozen. We're really starting to see it in the last couple years. We had there's a good 24 lifeguards on our stands right now doing our junior lifeguard program.
You got to be 16 to watch the ocean.
Yes,
You think that's old enough?
I think it is. Being involved in education, knowing the maturity of a lot of kids at 16, they're ready for it. Not every 16-year-old is ready for it.
Right.
But
What? It's 15 for a pool,
yes, 15 for a pool
16 for the.
for the ocean.
So who do we report to for quality control, licensing? Who are we part of?
Well, the pools, which we don't have any,
Right.
all go through Red Cross. We basically go through our health department. They come down and inspect the beaches. They know exactly what is supposed to be on the beach. They're there the first weekend, and they go through everything from how many Band-Aids we have to how many boards, boats, whistles on, lifeguards, everything. And it's through the state of New Jersey mandates that.
Are we part of any national or East Coast Life-Saving Association?
Yes, as of 2014, we're a member of the National United States Lifeguarding Association. So, we're also Monmouth County chapter. We've been involved with since 2007.
And what do they do?
They are the Monmouth County United States Lifeguarding Association is a chapter within the United States Lifeguarding Association, and
USLA.
USLA, which short terms, and they do. You'll send them certification, number of lifeguards you have. You'll send them your training manual, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and they'll just inspect it and file it.
Now, somewhat switching topics. The kids who work on the beach, a good chunk of them are Long Branch kids. Not just the lifeguards, but ticket takers, the kids who do the cleaning. We have a pretty good idea where a lot of our kids are during the summer.
No question. It's awesome as an educator from high school to be involved with Long Branch's finest basically all year round. The ticket takers, they're grinding it out.
Right.
They're in there 8:30 in the morning and all the way to 5 o'clock. I mean, they're tellers, and they'll be in charge of a tremendous amount of money.
Yep. Mr.
More
Riley
than
makes
most
sure.
banks.
Yes.
Which is what a great opportunity. What a great thing to put on your resume.
Right.
And they earn every piece that they get. And it's great to be able to reward. Say, listen, I know these 5 kids, they're great kids, they're solid students, and they're really looking for work. and we can give them more.
And we see some of the wrestlers and football players doing some of them lifeguard,
Yep.
and some of them just work on the beach.
It's exciting, again, to transition, and because summer jobs are difficult to come
Yeah.
by.
You don't have to have a driver's license
You
to
know,
get to the
drivers-
beach.
No, and the fact that we have something in place in the city of Long Branch that we can, we have 150 employees between ticket takers and lifeguards. Probably 60 or 70% are Long Branch kids. That's pretty darn neat.
Let me ask you a slightly more personal question. I mean, most of your life is involved getting up, going to school, and in the summer you go to the beach. Not a bad deal.
It's, I was an accounting major in college, and I worked for Price Waterhouse for a couple of years. And everybody asked me, how'd you get an education? I said, I was riding a train every day. I was like, my life's just not what it used to be. I used to get up in the morning, go to school, go to practice, and go to the beach in the summers. I don't like this, getting on the train, driving up to New York City. So I said, I'm going to take a step back, and I'm doing what I always loved to do.
Accounting major at Ohio State.
Yes.
We now have former Ohio State coach coaching at Rutgers, Chris Ash.
Yes.
Football. Have you had a chance to meet him yet?
I have not met him yet. I have not. Looking forward to hoping to hit the spring game this year and some of the spring practices, which are always neat. They do a great job with letting you get right down there on the practice field.
As a high school coach, and you'll have, I would think you'd have a little bit of an in. You were the captain of the wrestling team at Ohio State. You'll have a little bit of an in there. Well, thank you very much for coming over. Good talking to you. See you soon.
Thank you, Mayor. It was an honor.
Thank you.